Hello，大家好，我係 Marguerite and welcome to my little Cantonese corner。今日2023年4月12號星期三 I think today is the 12th of April 2023. I have a really short amount of time. The lighting is terrible, the glare is horrible, but I wanted to just get videos out because I'm waiting until they're like perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. And so I thought I'll just do this video because I think this is really interesting stuff. And I'm also doing it to introduce a live stream that Gloria and I are going to be having on Friday morning Eastern Time and evening Hong Kong time, talking all about radicals. Why learn them? What are they good for? When I was learning characters, the radicals were there and we learned them along with the characters, but they weren't the main focus. It wasn't like starting to learn all 214 radicals before going on to learn characters. They were part and parcel of learning the character. But the more that I've really looked into radicals now, because some of my students over at Cantolingo are quite interested in learning radicals. And so it's interesting because I'm like, wow, now that I'm looking at them, there's some really cool and some cool but also confusing and frustrating like similarities in the radicals. So I wanted to share with you 3 characters here and their radicals and show you just how interesting radicals can be. You may not choose the word interesting to describe them, but that's what I'm going with today. So we have yan, right? It's your 4th low falling yan. It means person, and in its radical form, you most often see it like this, which is called the kayambin. Kayambin is like the way to describe it if you're telling somebody how to write the character. And so that is slanted on its side. That happens to a lot of characters that are also radicals. They kind of get smushed or used in a different form and you don't really recognize it right away, but that's what it is. So this is one of those. That's what it looks like on the left side most often in radical form. Of course, it can be its complete form in a character as well, but a lot of times this is one of the most, these 3 are actually the most, among the most common radicals. So here we've got our yan, and you'll see it here in the character Hall, right? Hall. It's a 4th, I circled the 4 there for you Yutping learners, H-O-H accent marked down for Yale, Hall, right? And Hall is a surname. So if you know somebody or if you yourself are surnamed Hall, that is the character, and the radical is the person radical, which makes sense since if it is a referring to a surname, it's referring to people that have that surname. So that makes a lot of sense. And then you get the pronunciation hint from the right side of the character, because that, if you know your characters, is Hall, which we will get to in a moment. But first up is the water radical, another super common radical that you will learn right from the start if you're learning characters. It appears in so many characters, and that is your so. It's the 2nd mid-rising so. Now, this character here often appears like this. Looks nothing like the character itself, but in radical form, you'll see it as 三點水 on the side of a character. So if you're referring to it, you'll hear people say, oh, you know, like 三點水, and then they'll describe the rest of the character. So this one is your hall. It's also, I'm going to disappear for a moment. It's also a 4th low falling hall, right? So it matches the exact pronunciation and tone of that one above, but it's got that pronunciation hint of hall on the side, but with the 三點水, it becomes hall. And that means river, right? That's a river. So as you can imagine, if you've got 水 radical, or the water radical, you're going to have something to do with water most often, if that is your radical. Moving down to the pronunciation hint in the other characters, but standing alone by itself is ha. Now that's your mid-rising ha, right? The 2nd tone there, ha. And this one means can or able to do something, like ha yi, right? That's one of the definitions of that character. It is the mouth radical though. So here we've got mouth, which is hao, which is your 2nd tone mid-rising hao for mouth. And in radical form, it kind of looks the same. You might see it a little bit smaller on the side, on the left side of a character, or a little bit smaller here. Obviously, if it's in this one, it's not going to be as big as its fully formed character, meaning mouth. right? So it adjusts its size, but it doesn't really adjust its shape like the other ones, like the, yeah, kind of, get smushed. It doesn't really get smushed. It just gets smaller. So this one is our haw, and I know I'm blocking the screen, but you guys, here, haw. um, this is terrible. The glare is terrible. This is going to be named my ugly video because I really want to get it out. I don't have a lot of time between teaching the classes and working. And I realize that my videos, a lot of you don't watch my videos past maybe the 5-minute mark. I know some of you do. And for that, I really appreciate it. But I'm like, why not get videos out that are like 5 to 8 minutes? You guys can watch them quick, learn something interesting. And then if you're interested in the fuller, longer version, join us on Friday when Gloria and I will be discussing these characters, these radicals, and a whole lot more when we're talking about the history of radicals, why they have them, are they still useful in today's day and age when you can go on the computer and just literally type in something in Yutpeng or something in, well, yeah, Yutpeng or in English even, and get the character to pop up. So are they really that important? Are they just going to be something more academic? You don't really need to learn them. We're going to be talking about all of that on Friday in a live stream with Gloria from Dope Chinese, so be sure to join us then. But for now, this was just a little bit of information. If you are learning Chinese characters, no matter what level you are, head on over to Cantolingo. I would love to help you, even if you're just starting out, if you just want to work the brain, if you want to connect better with your heritage, whatever reason you have for learning characters, we can help, either myself or Dope Chinese. So head on over to Cantolingo if you're interested. And if you're here just watching and you're a native speaker, let me know what you think of these. As you can see, it's so interesting because you've got the same pronunciation, completely different characters, sharing similarities, different radicals, and completely different meanings, right? Surname. And also it's used as a question word in the written form. So that's used as a question word and also a surname. This one, river, right? And then this one, your can. Well, one definition like can. I always think of hao yi because that's usually when people are starting to learn Cantonese. That's the word that they most often associate this with. If you are in Hong Kong or anywhere in Asia, pick up a can of Coca-Cola, you will see this character on it, right? Hao 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 long, right? Hao 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 long is how to say Coca-Cola. So these are really, there's just so many different combinations and uses for the characters. And another tip that I will have before I end this video at 8 minutes is head on over to Canto Chic. And on that website, which I've done another video on it, you can find all of the characters that have the ha, ha, ha pronunciation, right? So that's it for me. It is at 8 minutes. I really am glad that you joined me. I hope you stayed through till the end. Again, if you're interested in characters, head on over to Cantolingo. If not, just stick around, hang out with me here on Cantonese Corner. And I thank you guys so much for your support. I will see you later in the next video. Don't forget, live stream on Friday with Gloria talking all about radicals. Bye.